Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 4th annual Super Summer Sizzler. This year's competition is going to be a team comp. Now let's meet our demo
It's
act.
that Super Summer Sizzler. Grab a partner, throw it down, now listen to our whistlers. Hold the standards and leave no doubt, cause if you get caught slipping, them bats will come out.
To announce workout 2, let's pass it to pool boy Brandon. Workout number 2 is a 17-minute AMRAP, 12 or 10 calorie row, 10 dumbbell front squats, and 8 burpees over the dumbbell.
Standards are in the description below.
All right, workout 2 of the Super Summer Sizzler.
This workout is where you really sizzle.
This is my favorite. You guys were talking about before we started recording, but you guys said that there were 2 that were like fun hard and one that was hard. I'm guessing this is the one that's hard.
He tugged.
No, this one isn't?
No. He Trevor tugged?
Oh, no.
I mean, this one hurts. This one messed me up.
It's the next one.
Yeah, I knew I was going to film these with Mia, so I was like, I want to test this out in my garage, and I did it. I did it on my own where I
Mike was doing training sessions.
You practiced all of them.
I practiced all. Well, look, I knew we were filming, and you're fit and in shape, and I had to make sure that
Dang, dude, holding 1,500. You didn't hold 1,500 when we did a workout like this.
I know. I actually went faster every set. No, this honestly reminded me of the throwdown we did.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I did it in my garage, and I just knew, like, oh, man, doing this one again really hurts. This is basically a sprint. So you're doing each round. You're trying to get it done as fast as possible so that you can get the next person working. And, yeah, I mean, I think there is a fine line of going out way too hot on it because it's 17 minutes long. But at the same time, like, if you want to have good scores and, be competitive with other teams, you still got to push and just kind of deal with it.
Yeah, I'd say it's like a controlled sprint.
Yeah.
Where the row is at a hard pace, but not a sprint pace, and then the rest is as fast as you
Yeah, and
go.
My strategy actually started changing each round that we went. So, like, I started rowing harder, and then I started in the earlier rounds, I rowed harder. And then the later rounds, I actually pulled back on the row a little bit and focused on the burpee speed because I just felt like the impact the hard row had on my squat speed and burpee speed wasn't worth it.
That's a really good point. You really could pick any of those 3 movements to sprint on if you have something that you're fast. Like maybe you're a burpee machine. If that's you, then go as fast as you can on those 8 burpees. You can make up a couple seconds and maybe slow down the row. Or if you're a really big athlete, sprinting the row and then kind of going smooth on the front squats and burpees can also be a good strategy.
The front squats were so hard.
They were really hard.
They were the worst part of the workout.
Yeah.
And you got to move
fast. The first time in my life wanted to do more burpees.
I just think that's a weird movement trying to sprint because you don't have the dumbbells aren't connected to your body when you're moving fast like that, and obviously trying to meet standard, like making sure that you're fully opening the hips and getting obviously below parallel. It was just like I don't know. It felt like I was going as fast as I could, but it felt really slow.
Yeah, it was like a sprint, but these movements you can cheat them.
I was going to say, it sounds like you can make up a lot of time if you just cheat.
You could, yeah. You could definitely go faster if you didn't do
Did y'all consider
right.
it? Or
yeah.
Matt Gilpin was looking at y'all too closely?
We made sure to have a judge.
Well, we have the TTT audience watching to hold me accountable, and Matt Gilpin.
Matt was doing a good job. He was like bending over like a real judge.
I know.
Making sure your
he
hip
was,
crease
yeah.
below your knee.
He got me a few times, yeah.
Well, for all you teams out there, you don't have that, so feel free. Just
cheat.
Meet the standard.
Yeah.
Hold yourself to a high standard.
Yeah, I'm definitely chilling on the road a little bit.
Well, you started at 1,550 to 1,600. So did you have like a sprint start and then back off?
I did, yeah. I kind of I punch it hard out the gate to get the calories rolling, and then I start pulling back. So that's another thing too you got to remember, and that's the thing we talk about, 3-pull rule. Like, get up to speed as quickly as possible. Because if you're doing a workout like this and you're saying, oh, I averaged 1,500 cal per hour, but then you watch someone and like 20 seconds of that is you building up to 1,500 cal per hour, you're not actually averaging that.
What are you laughing at?
Towel.
Oh,
You moved it, and then you threw it.
Yeah, it kept getting close to me. It was dirty.
Going back to getting to your working pace quickly, we saw this too in quarterfinals with the interval workout where people would do the power snatches and then they would get up to, let's say a male said that they were at 1,500 or 1,600, but it did take them 20 seconds. And there was like a 4 or 5 cal difference on the leaderboard each round in that workout just because it took them 20 seconds to get to it. So get to your working pace quickly and use this as practice for those kind of qualifier workouts that you'll do.
Yeah, especially when you're coming off of a rest and starting on the rower, there's really no excuse to not get to pace quickly.
Yeah, so we tried to pick different elements for each one of these Sizzler workouts. I like the first one we did was a little bit about strategy and pacing with your teammate. This one was not a lot of strategy and it was more about speed of transitions.
I didn't even see you. like the whole workout
yeah,
once
I know.
we started.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know where you were.
But it was about being really aggressive on transitions and like, because, you know, if we're getting 10 rounds in this, every, you know, 1 or 2 seconds that you add by like taking your time going from rower to squat or squat starting your burpees adds up. And it's ideally you want to think about all these movements never stopping, keeping them as fast as possible for the entire 17 minutes.
Yep.
So whatever you have to do to get that done, which makes it sting.
Mia, you're doing a really good job staying low over the dumbbells. That was such a key in the open, too.
I'm
a lot
trying,
of people are
but
standing
my
all the way
hips
up.
are still so high.
They're high, but
Man.
you know, a lot of people are going to keep high hips as long as your shoulders are low. And I really like people that keep their shoulders below hips. I know it's hard to breathe in that position, but if you are good at breathing in that position, it speeds up burpees so much.
I'm still rowing. Okay. There we go. It's dropping a little bit.
Well, that's
Oh.
what I was saying is each of these, you've kind of sprinted out the gate, got it up to 1,600, and then pulled back a little bit.
And y'all did this one like what, 30 minutes after y'all did workout 1 or
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah.
So
so
it's like 5
this is a
days
quick-
later.
Yeah.
a quick transition.
I actually felt okay. The first one actually hurt when we filmed the first one. Felt the worst because like I always feel pretty good after doing like one piece and then resting a little while. I also too kept thinking, and this is pretty negative self-talk. I'm doing the burpees, and I was like, I wonder if I'm even moving at what the world record speed was on Open 24.1. Like
I mean, they were moving
I
really
know.
fast.
I'm
No.
like, no, I'm saying I'm sprinting, and I'm like, man, I feel like, and they were doing, you know, 6 minutes at this speed.
Yeah. I know you're onto the burpees now, but you guys both kind of hold the dumbbells the same way for the front squats. Is that how you would do it if it was, let's say, a slower paced workout? If you were doing it by yourself, Mike, would you still hold them in that like true front rack position, or would you stack them?
I used to stack them, and then recently I started going back to that kind of front rack hold because the transition going up and then into it, I actually feel better squatting that way. It does wear out my arms a little bit doing that, but I actually feel better squatting and like I feel more balanced. When I stack them, you kind of have to like, it's a skill getting them up, getting them balanced and maintaining that position. It is a lot easier on my grip and arms though when I do that, but the squat pattern just doesn't feel like as efficient.
I will stack them 99.9% of the time. This workout, it just took too long for
Yeah.
like, and it wasn't a grip limited workout or a shoulder limited workout, so you just had to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick at Mia for a second. I think one thing, too, that could help speed up the transition was she picks them up, swings them under her legs, and then goes to her shoulder. And I think you could practice, not just you, people could practice walking up slightly in front of the dumbbells so that where they're behind you when you go down to grab them. And then you basically just go in one full swoop, picking them up to your shoulders and going into almost like a squat clean.
Yeah.
That
Those
could save
little
like a
things
half
that
a second,
saves
yeah.
half
Yeah.
a second or a second every transition. How many times?
I think I do that. Let's watch and see. I'm not sure, though.
If you guys had 7 or 8 transitions here, then
Yeah,
that can
it
make,
adds up.
make a
Yeah,
difference.
teams will be really close on this one because the movements are so simple and fast.
I mean, I think the row pace overall is going to matter.
Yeah.
You are on the rower for a good amount of time. It's just you have to be careful not to let your row pace slow down your other movements. So it's
Yeah.
really how fast can you row while still keeping as fast as possible
I agree.
pace on the other movements.
I think the row takes the biggest impact. I mean, obviously the other movements could slow down if you're blown up, like you were saying. But yeah, like if you can keep a really high row pace, you're going to do pretty well in this one.
Like I asked on the last workout, are there any big traps people might fall into for the average person?
Rowing too hard.
Rowing too hard.
Yeah, I think if you full sprint
Did you
a
see
row,
that setup? That's what I was talking about.
Yeah,
so like I
yeah.
stepped a little bit in front of it and just went right into it.
I think if you full sprint the row without having the capacity to back it up, you're going to fall off a cliff eventually. My legs were blown up like by the second round.
Yeah.
I felt
I mean,
pretty
it's
heavy.
a lot, right?
Yeah.
You're rowing and then squatting and then jumping over the dumbbell. People don't realize that it's a lot of legs in the burpee.
It
included.
is. Yeah. Yeah, and you can kind of tell my squat speed and my burpee speed started picking up because I started pulling back on my row a little bit. I think Matt was telling me, hey, you're actually like your splits are a little bit faster by backing off the row just a hair.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, if you push a little too much on the row, you get off and you kind of like have that slight hesitation with your speed on the squats.
It's so good to know that stuff too, and that's why we do training intervals, so you can get a feel for, as an athlete, what you can do. Now, the best in the world, they're going fast in the row, fast in the squat, fast in the burpee. But for most of us, maybe it's only fast in the squat and the burpee, or only fast in the burpee, and I have to pull back. But if that's going to give me my fastest average, that's going to be better off than just trying to sprint one piece.
Man, there's going to be some people that do this that can go as fast as they want and like can just repeat that over
Right.
and over. Like you would have so much rest doing it with someone else that you'd be able to like hold your your peak speed the entire time.
Yeah, I think people that are pretty enduring can do that well.
Yeah.
On that note, Brandon, would you recommend people do like a warm-up version of this to figure out what
100%. And I
do?
think that you guys did this before you started. You guys did a couple of rounds to get a feel for how long a round will take. Mike, I know when you and I did the throwdown workout, that was similar to this.
Yeah.
We also did that. We wanted to time how long a round would take. And then our goal was not to have any deterioration, which if you can do this workout where there's only like 1 or 2 seconds of deterioration, then you're going to have a really good score.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think doing a full round in your warm-up is smart here.
Oh, definitely a full round. I think do a full round and then rest and then get back on the rower to see how it feels, to know, all right, what would that first row coming back feel like? That's something I always like suggest to people when doing these repeat style workouts like this. Because you could do one round and be like, all right, I felt good on that, but you don't know what that row would feel like, what your legs would feel like coming back.
It's really like third round and on that starts getting pretty challenging, this workout. All right, we haven't really talked much about the row as far as like technique or tips. Anything in particular that you guys did or think about when it is only 12 or 10 calories?
Yeah, my technique in this starts to change where I'm trying not to use as much quad drive for my legs. I'm trying to use more of a bit more of a hinge, because we're squatting. The burpees honestly feel like an extension of the squats because you're so low and trying to stay low and like jump over.
Yep.
So like, yeah, I was just trying to do what I can.
You're moving fast here, by the way.
Thanks, man.
It's pretty good.
Thank you. But yeah, I definitely think more of like a hinge and using more arms to pull on the rower was helping a little bit. What about you, Mia?
I don't think I changed very much. I wanted to keep my power fairly high, so if I got rid of the leg drive, that would go away. I knew like my peak speed on front squats and burpees isn't super high, and I felt like I just had to make sure that I didn't bleed more time on the rower. So I can usually keep like my speed on something like a front squat and a burpee in an interval like this. It's just the peak speed's not that high. So I think I had a little bit more room to play with, like allowing my legs to get more tired on the rower and just know I can hang on to that original pace on the other movements.
Yeah.
And that's just the type of athlete that I am. Like, I'm not super powerful, so I'm like, the fastest I can go is not going to be crazy fast, and because of that, I'm not going to like fall off a cliff, and I just knew that.
Yeah, I'm starting to hurt right now.
You can see it.
Yeah, I mean,
back to the row.
I'm not saying it didn't hurt.
Yeah.
It certainly hurt.
Yeah.
The worst is when you know, like, so Mia starts her burpees, and you're like, oh, I only have 10 seconds before I have to start again.
Did
Yeah.
your like lower back or anything start to blow up in this at
No, it
all?
was 100% quads.
Yeah. One thing, when you finish your burpees too, I want to watch my start so that some people can learn how to start on something like this, because I think you can lose a lot of time. So like half pull, 3/4 pull into a full pull. So sometimes you'll see people start where they like kind of like yank on the handle a little bit.
Yeah, it's
They
like
do this-
4 different like mini yanks.
and I mean, I've just always taught people like set up, create tension, and then go into your half pull to where you're basically finishing your stroke, then go a little bit closer in, and then by the 3rd stroke, you're at your actual full stroke length. And that, to me, just from a ton of experimenting, is the fastest way to get cal per hour speed up quickly.
And it usually gets you to your working pace, especially if you're powerful.
Aside from the Trevor tug.
The trip to, yeah. I want to go back to the row real quick, and I really do encourage athletes. I think it's important. I think you can really kind of play the game by learning different rowing techniques based on the movements that are in the workout. So for me, in a workout that is squat heavy, I actually have a different rowing technique that's more hinge based. I bend my knees less and I hinge. You have to be good at compressing, so think about like your chest coming down to your thighs. It's almost more like a true RDL or a deadlift, but I now have practiced that enough I can keep my same pace there, and it gets more hamstrings, glutes, low back, and less quads. And then if it's a workout that has a bunch of power snatches or deadlifts, then I'll do a squat technique, which is kind of like a normal row technique where I'm bending my knees, getting my hips and butt all the way into my heels. And that then is going to be more quads, but less on my glutes, hamstrings, and low back. So then I'm not fatiguing the same quote-unquote pathway with the movements that I'm doing in the workout. And I promise you it helps, and it's allowed me to stay pretty fit and be able to pace these styles of workouts without doing a bunch of muscular endurance work.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot in the past, and like most rowers would be like, that is terrible advice for rowing.
And
But
I've had people that have emailed me and said that that's so stupid, and I'm like, you don't do CrossFit. It's the same thing as the weightlifter that says you need to set up like this for a snatch. It's like, yes, if you're doing snatches, only snatches, then that I agree with you. But if you're doing 20 touch and go power snatches at 135, I'm going to have a different strategy
Into
because it's
pull-ups,
CrossFit.
into
exactly. Yeah, it's about finding whatever's efficient. my transitions, I wish I could just get in my ear right now and be like, get from the rower to the dumbbells a little faster. I'm
can
like,
tell you're breathing hard.
I'm hitting the snooze button on wanting to start the movement.
I think one thing you could do is you could just let the handles just fly back because you don't have to set it in that little thing. Mia can do.
That's true.
Yeah. but then
Wow,
you
that
break
actually is
the-
a good point.
Then you break the rower, though, right?
No.
Maybe.
I mean, we're not paying for these things. Am I right?
I could also throw the dumbbells. There's a lot of things I could do.
I haven't been keeping track of actual round times, but it seems like you guys really haven't dropped off much at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stayed pretty linear. I think Matt showed the splits afterwards. I don't know if he did it on camera, but there wasn't a huge drop off.
Yeah. I think one thing that's important too is if you're getting close to that 15-minute range, you need to know and be aware. So situational awareness in workouts like this is super important. You need to know how much time is left and where you're going to end in the workout. So meaning like if I know this is my last set, then like drop the hammer and like completely sprint. What you don't want to do is like get done and then your teammate's done or gets, she's in her last round and like it's, capped halfway through it where you're like, oh crap, I didn't realize like I was completely done there. So that's
Are
something
you
to
talking
be
to yourself on that one?
right there.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, so I mean, this is probably your slowest transition. I know
Yeah.
you're toward the end of the workout, but there you took maybe 2 seconds on
I
the
didn't have very good awareness because I thought you were going to get back on
Yeah.
the rower.
I think I did too.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it. So that's something there where we made a mistake.
Yeah, I
was
remember
like-
we talked about that afterwards.
Yeah. Because I could have definitely gone faster.
You
in
would have
this last
sprinted
set.
the
Yeah.
transitions.
Yeah. I kept thinking, oh, I have another row coming up. But like even then, like so what? If I'm ending on the row, like I could still
Right.
suck it up. I just
That is dangerous, though. So for those that maybe sprint this round, let's say you do get back and then you're
Yeah.
completely blown up, you also
Yeah.
can cost yourself.
Yep. Let's see. How much
Still
time?
good speed on the burpees.
Oh yeah.
Minute 7
Feeling
left.
it. Yep. It's
Let's
pretty
see what
nasty.
Nia does. Oh yeah, you're well above. You just knew this was your last round, and
Yeah,
you gotta go.
I still thought he was going to get back, so I was thinking like
Oh, she's
Get-
dropping the hammer.
get off of this so he can
Dang,
get
Mia.
on
Oh
it.
man, you get MVP in this one.
I
I don't think I rode that hard. in my last set.
Well done, and nice transition.
I mean, I did technically.
You know what's dumb is I thought I was squat cleaning these.
Oh really?
Yeah.
In the moment, you're like, I'm so efficient.
Look at me.
Yeah.
I feel like I hit a cheat code learning to like go in the front rack like that this season. I started doing it in more of the movements. Even then, my lunges they just started feeling
Right.
better. Yeah.
It does blow my shoulders up a little bit. That's my only problem
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, I think the right circumstance it works.
Is this the best year of the Super Summer Sizzler we've ever
Yeah,
done?
because you have a friend.
I think so.
To sizzle with a friend.
I love these workouts, and I'm super excited.
Should it be
to
the
Mike,
see
Got
them.
you're
a
ready.
friend
You're
in
ready.
Should it be the Super Summer?
Oh, I did with a Trevor tug.
What'd you get?
Wow,
Nothing.
that
Oh.
was good.
I-
It went up high, but it was too late. It was just too late. Yep. All right. Good luck, everyone.
Should we call this the Super Summer Twizzler?
Sure.
Brandon?
I don't really like Twizzlers.
What do you think?
Twizzling.
I love Twizzlers.
I love Reese's though.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
theater
Actually, want some
snack.
Reese's right now.
Super Summer Reese's.
Sounds way better.
All right.
Super
it.
summer
Good luck.
Snickers.